What I'm going to be talking about today is a flashlight. It's a SureFire 6P, which is a incandescent model, and along with it I replaced the lighting element with a custom-made LED drop-in. It's a Gene Malkoff M60. Tail cap comes off. Two batteries inside. Cap. There's the little drop-in. Gene Malkoff considers the optic to be a short to medium range thrower. So it's not pure flood, and it's not a tight beam spot that you're gonna just have some tiny little hot spot, and it's got a very good spill. It feels good in my hand. It's a very solid feeling light, and it's a good size, good weight. It's got these squared off edges that it won't roll. You can put it down. No way for it to tail sit stock. I know there's caps you can buy that the cap extends below the push button. You can also get a clicky switch. This is a turn on, this is a momentary on, and then to lock it on you turn. So why do you need a flashlight? In either a survival kit or day-to-day, I think a flashlight is a tremendously useful thing to have and to have ready. I've started carrying my small little single AA one basically every day at all times. I don't even need to start turning on lights. I can just pop my LED on really fast to light things up. So I think it's one of the most important tools you can get. And then you have to think, okay, well, what kind of flashlight do you want? Do you want something really powerful? Do you want something that's small that you can put on a keychain? It's probably a category I would divide into three. I would have a flashlight for keychain. I would have a flashlight that's free to use, in quotes. You basically buy rechargeable batteries. You can use it every day as much as you want, recharge them. And then I like to have basically a powerful, almost backup light that you keep full blast at all times. Maximum illumination, possibly defensive purposes. Due to using primary cells that are lithium, it can serve as more of a reserve light because those batteries store longer and store in the cold. So some of the key features right away is just the SureFire brand. Very well known as a law enforcement, military type light. Now, people are critical of them because they sort of over-engineer their products and underrate them. So they may not have the latest lumen output and features. And a lot of the people on the Candle Power forums, which is a great community and resource, will like to stay up to date and get like the newest technology. So SureFire definitely doesn't get all the bleeding edge stuff. The knurling on the body, it's a very nice meat and potatoes knurling. It's a very classic pattern, and I really like it. It helps grip. The other light that I actually bought, which is smaller, has the same kind of knurling. This window is a Pyrex, which is nice. It's not just a chintzy little piece of plastic. It's heat treated, very thick inner construction. The walls basically of this thing are very, very thick. Just to recap some of the key features of the light body itself. You get the SureFire name, R&D, warranty, made in USA. You get a rugged watertight construction, meat and potatoes knurling, Pyrex heat treated window. Now as far as the drop-in itself, it's a Cree LED, state of the art, and for a lot of guys who are maybe thinking about upgrading from incandescence, it's a really good time to do that because the new stuff pretty much blows a lot of the old stuff out of the water if you've got an old Maglight or you got an old light that's 5 years old. And it's a unique optic, which this drop-in I believe is still, at the time I bought it, which was about a little over a year ago, the 6P Malkoff combo was like the hottest thing going. Most powerful, good value. I think it still is. there may be some new things I'm kind of out of the loop, but it's a very, it's not like you're sacrificing power. I believe it's listed as 240 lumen, and then you should check out his story for sure, because this is something that's handmade by an American guy. I try to buy American as much as I can. I won't go out of my way to buy a bad product. So, Cree LED, unique optic, nice brass construction, handmade by an American, powerful output. Okay, so when I'm thinking about getting something, I usually have a couple items that are in the standings. Which one am I going to buy? So which did this light beat out? There was a single battery option from Phoenix, P1D I believe, which is compact and had really good output. I considered that. I ultimately liked the fact that it was pretty much such a cutting edge power from the Malkoff drop-in. So this was not just I'm going to get a reliable light. This was both. You get a cutting edge light that's bomb-proof. Then the other avenue was, okay, if I'm paying $120 for a light or something total, do I want to get something even more powerful? Do I want to get something that has more throw? Some of the other lights were bigger. I wasn't too into getting some kind of crazy torch, and the cost went up. It wasn't, $120 now. Some of those lights $150, $200. And I really didn't want to spend that, because I was going to be using this for work. And should I drop it down a wall? Should I drop it and have it break? Should I drop it down a couple stories of a building? I don't want to lose $300. Okay, so field experience. Where did I use it? Well, I did for the past couple years. I've been working in low voltage, so pulling wire through walls, hanging TVs on walls, programming remotes, installing speakers on houses and attics. So I was carrying this to light up attics, to light up crawl spaces, to light up walls, to light up job sites if I was working in new construction. At night we did a full weekend in, it was like 10 below, wide open house, huge propane heaters on every floor, but it was still cold, so we were cleaning up a lot of times at night, and I had a little dinky Maglight that I was using. That spurred me on basically to buy a headlamp and this light. It was basically overkill for the kind of work I was doing, because I really didn't need something that powerful. For example, if I put this in like a double gang metal conduit box, you couldn't even look at it. You'd be blinded because of the reflection. And a lot of tasks I needed like a tiny little, like a Streamlight stylus pen light, which we used a ton. So this was overkill for what I wanted to do with it, which is why I've kind of retired it to be a defensive reserve light. But it still kicked butt. The battery cost, it kind of stunk. You got to figure, okay, if somebody says, hey man, can I borrow your light? And you give it to them, and they turn it on, you basically cringe, because that's like $3 that's ticking down in there. It does heat up quick. This drop-in cannot be used in a plastic light. I know there's the G2 body, which some people want to use it in or have used it in. I definitely would suggest getting the 6P metal, because you have this thing on for 30 seconds or a minute or 2 minutes, it starts getting warm in your hand. The one area I will say that the fit and finish is weak is on the Malkoff, and it's on the plastic face. Now, I'm not sure if this is because I dropped this thing a few times and it got loose, but you can see that these little, they're like fins. But what I found is that if you have this upside down or it gets banged, the main cap of the top will it will angle, and then the corona, the beam will be affected. You have to take it out, push it back in. I did email Gene and said, like, look, this is what happened. He said try to maybe put a little bead of silicone around it to lock it in. So I bought some silicone the other day, and I'm going to do that. He said if that doesn't work out, let me know. We could probably get you another one or something. I'm not going to try to do that to him, because quite frankly I don't really want to nail him up for another one. But I may buy another one just to keep, so I can have this as a reserve, and then I'll maybe pop in the new one or whatever. But pros and cons: it's bright as hell, bomb-proof, made in the USA by two great companies, one big, one small. Cons: it's expensive to operate. Batteries these days are about, you almost have to assume $1.50 a pop. I know if you go to a police supplier, or if you get a quantity discount, you can get it down $1.30, 80 cents, depending on where you go and what kind you buy. I use Panasonic's. I believe SureFires come from the same place, both made in USA. Price: it was $60 for the SureFire, $60 for the Malkoff.